What up?
Alright, here we go.
What's going on? Came in way too hot. Way too hot.
Tell me you're okay.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Failure Podcast with myself, Devin, my co-host right over there, Mr. Matty Sill. And with us today, we have retired freestyle motocross rider turned announcer for, a couple little events, X Games, Nitro Circus. You might have heard of him. You can find him at Supercross doing some announcing there too. So yeah, he's a pretty big deal. He's even gotten into the rider management side of things. Welcome to the show, Mr. Kenny Bell, aka Taco Bell. How are we, buddy?
Oh, we're good, man. Stoked. I know we've been talking about doing this for a little while, and it's crazy. Like, you would think with the way the world is going right now, there'd be plenty of free time, but for some reason I almost feel like I'm like busier than like I usually am right now. I don't know, like life is just going right now. So to finally get it done. And I know I made you guys drive down here. I told you, I'm like, yeah, no, I can go for sure. 2 days before, hey,
Just kidding.
That's all good, man. Like, that's the thing with our setup. We like being able to travel with it. And it's kind of fun just being able to
it
give
makes it a little different, a little new,
Yeah, it actually is kind of cool being able to travel. We get cooler backgrounds like this, We got some dirt bikes in the back, so it's actually we're not even mad about coming out here.
Yeah, I like what you said, man. Like, I feel like I shouldn't be as busy as I am, especially with flying, not working right now. I feel like I should have a ton of time, but it's like just life is happening, and there's like so much just random busy work that I have.
Well, I think like for the first time in a long time, you actually have time to work on what you've always like kind of wanted to work on. I mean, a lot of people are complaining, oh, I'm so bored, oh, I'm so fat because of the COVID body or something like that. I'm like, COVID body, like, you have more time than you've ever had in your life. You're just a lazy motherfucker.
Like, this is now like
all the time in the world.
Yeah, you have no excuse right now. There's literally no excuse for you not to go out there and try to better yourself or work on that project that you always wanted to try or start that company, whatever, like.
And I mean, I think like looking at like a lot of my buddies, I mean, all the same people I know that own their own companies or do, and like DBK, for instance, Twitch says, I've never made more money or sold more shirts or anything like that. Well, government's giving everybody all these monies, like, go out and do something.
Dude,
I don't know what it is.
It's free money, I call it.
I mean, I don't think it's free. I think all these
well, I mean, you
dudes are paying it back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want any of that.
I don't want any of it. Yeah.
You still kind of work for it, but I mean, you get a nice little check, and then you got nothing better to do with your life than go on the internet and shop for shit. So you're like, might as well spend it.
Yeah, might as well look good when I'm stuck in the house. Right?
Yeah.
And Twitch is just absolutely killing it right now with the DBK game.
Man,
I mean, he did that, and then he started the whole 110 compound at the house, and
now you, to buy a 110, it's like the same amount as the new 450.
Dude,
you can't even get them right now.
They don't even exist right now.
110s are impossible to get.
4,500. No, they're $2,000. Yeah, well, it's all about what is it? What do they say?
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, they're like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, yep, we're here.
Why am I going to spend $4,500 on a pit bike, a stock pit bike?
Because it's fucking sick, bro.
Oh man, but yeah, no, it's rad having you on the show. You had a podcast here for a little bit, Panic Rev Radio.
I did. Don't Panic Radio.
Don't Panic Radio. That's what it was.
There's still an Instagram. I probably can't even get into it. I have no clue.
I don't know the passwords.
Yeah, no idea. But it was fun. It was good. It just like we were kind of chopping it up before this, and it's a lot of work, and it was a one-man band. There's no money in it. You're completely just doing it. I'm bribing people to come to my house to go on the show by like making them dinner, because there was no money to give anybody.
Trust me.
That is crazy. That sounds a little.
It sounds a little familiar.
That's wild.
Like, hey, you want to come on and sponsor my podcast? Yeah, I'll give you a backpack. Like, what the fuck do I need a backpack for, dude? Like, I need money.
I need money. I need to eat.
Can I sell the backpack?
Yeah.
Sell the backpack for money?
Do you want me to tag you in it, or because I want to sell this?
Very, very much relatable. And I mean, like you were just saying, because of COVID, that's kind of how we got started with this thing. Because we were like, dude, we got nothing better to do. We might as well just start it. And now it's definitely a labor of love in the beginning, but it's starting to pick up for us, which is cool. But
well, yeah, when you first came out and you guys had nothing, I'm like, I ain't doing that shit. I ain't put my name on this thing. Like, let's see if anybody watches this.
Right? Yeah. No, exactly. Like it's a work in progress. It's like, you know, we do have buddies. We have cool people that we could bring on the show. Definitely. Like you're one of them. And there's a lot of people that him and I know from whether it's moto background or just random different things that we've met people in life. But again, like when you're building the brand and you're building the process and like people aren't going to go out and just come on your show if you're not taking it serious. You know, like people need to see like some will and some effort behind it. Cause like, why are they going to put their name behind something that we might give up on next week? You know, we might just walk away from next week.
It's all about doing the fuck ups with fuck ups. Get the fuck ups out before you bring someone on. You know?
yeah, we tried that, but we're still continuing to fuck up. So
yeah, I mean, it's a lifestyle, right?
But yeah, it's a lifestyle. That's where the name comes from, right? Just another failure. Yeah. So
that's our fucking lifestyle.
Yeah.
Setting yourself up for the win.
Yep.
Yeah. How can we mess this up? But no, I mean, overall it's cool. But you know, for Devin and myself, and I'm sure you even had it too, but like there's riders that we grew up looking up to, and then those riders somehow became our friends at certain points in life. And like I remember me growing up, like I remember like legit watching you when I was like in high school riding an event in Oakland, and you're like one of the only dudes that flipped the show. And it was like this guy from Reno, Nevada that rode freestyle motocross. I think it was like Kings FMX. I don't even remember the show back in the day, but
I'm sure I don't either.
You know, but like what we're like, it's funny, like then moving to Southern California and then like getting in with you guys and then like riding Jimmy Fitzpatrick's house and like end up hanging out with you guys and becoming buddies. Like who were some people that you looked up to as when you were a kid racing or with them freestyle, and then that day came where you kind of just became part of the crew? Like what was your kind of
oh man, I feel like if I give you the list of like the people that I probably looked up to, you would probably understand why I'm where I am in life. Like I should have shot a lot higher on the bar, you know what I mean? But no, I mean obviously all the legends of the sport you thought were just cool as hell, you know, like the McGraths. I remember being super pumped on like Ezra Lusk, like riders like that, just guys with style. But the guys that were like the closest to me were more, I wouldn't say down the grade a little bit, because like I hung out with like Jeff Willow a ton. And when I went racing arena cross and stuff and I had no money, I was 16, 17, out of the back of my minivan.
Yes.
I would just like, he would let me stay in his hotel room on the floor, kind of thing, like shit like that, because everyone knew that I was just out grinding, trying to make it happen. Mm-hmm. But guys like Willow, Rusty Holland, Jeff Pastana, like a lot of guys like that. Justin Tierney, he was from Reno. He was a badass. A lot of like just racer guys. And then you look at all those guys, they all did not make it. They all work in 9 to 5s. Like I said, I should have shot way higher, because I'm right on track to it. You're gonna see me with a tool belt and a nail gun real soon. I have a feeling, you know?
Oh, that's funny.
But I mean, overall, you kind of made it. You made it for a long time. Like you rode on like the premier best of the best freestyle team, the Militia, and
you were in the glory.
You were in the glory days of
like,
freestyle. What year did you start? Like, what was your first year on Militia?
Man, I don't know. That part of life is a serious blur. Like, there's no doubt about it. But it was kind of, I want to say, probably like damn near 10 years ago now or something like that, I would imagine. Maybe a little less, maybe 8 years. It was kind of a weird, the Militia thing was super, super awkward for me. And to be honest with you, it was the last thing that I ever thought. It was the last thing that I thought I wanted or even to be a part of. Because I grew up in Reno, Nevada, we had a little deal to make fun of the Militia. And so we called it MVHC, Nevada Hardcore. And it was Matt Biden, Dustin Miller, Mike Mason.
You had a little
Brian
squad
Foster,
out there that
McElroy.
Yep.
Like, we had a group of heavy hitters, and we all thought, like, you would see the dudes like with Militia, like Fitzpatrick and Deegans and those guys. And like, we'd see them at like contests or demos or wherever we were at. And you saw, and like, we knew like SoCal, we lived up, you know, we were like cowboys and Indians up in Nevada, you know.
Cowboys and Indian,
and-
riding moon rocks.
Yeah, but like we'd come down here or we'd see everyone, and they had like these like $500 jeans on and shit, and we're just like I forget what those were called, but
Like
they're
Affliction or
they're
something like that?
bedazzled. And
No,
shit.
the
Oh,
true religion.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, look at these nerds.
I remember seeing Fitzpatrick, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you wearing? And like, because like we were never like against each other. It was more of like a ha ha ha. Okay, if you guys are the militia, then we're gonna be Nevada hardcore. And it was like one of those things. Like we're just like, I thought you guys are hardcore. You're wearing your shit's bedazzled.
You're wearing
dude.
true religions.
Yeah, but like he's like, I don't know. Like
That's
I
not
saw
hardcore.
I saw some people had them, so I just got some. You know, and like at that point in life, like we were all first year making way too much money to know or what to do, kind of thing. And it was kind of one of those things that I was just about to turn 30, I think, and I was just over the snow. And being in
Don't
Reno,
blame you.
Being in Reno, you have for one the wind. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever flown into Reno?
Oh yeah.
It's
Tons of
it's
times.
the worst airport in the world. Like,
Because it sits like down a little hole,
Yeah,
and then
you
you got
come
that
over the
valley,
Sierras
on the
and,
backside
like,
by Pyramid.
you're
You come
cruising
through,
and
yeah.
it feels so good. And as soon as you drop over that hill, it's just you hold on. But it was just like there was 3 months of the year that you just could not ride, and it was kind of like a hell. Let's do one more final push and go down to SoCal. And I came down to SoCal, and I literally didn't have a house for probably, I would say a solid first year that I was down here. I literally would rent hotel rooms, couch surf kind of thing. Like if I flew in late from a show, like I think at that time we were on Nuclear Cowboys, and if I flew home and it was late, I would just get a hotel room somewhere. Like it was no big deal. I had a van, shit was all locked up. I had a storage unit. Like, it was a day-to-day project of life.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I think it was Linkogle was like, "Hey, Bell, where you been staying?" I'm like, "Oh, just
You're like, I don't know.
Walmart parking lots in my van,
Walmart parking lot.
hotel." Or like, I think he hit me up one morning. He's like, "Where you at?" And I was like, "Oh, the Sheridan or something." And he goes, "Where are you living at?" And I'm like,
The Sheridan.
"Yeah, I don't really have a house, Like,
We just talked about this with me the other week ago. But yeah.
I'm like, I really don't have an address. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And he has a mansion, so he was kind enough to let me move in, kind of thing. And I lived there for, I don't know, probably a solid 6 months or whatever. And one day we were just out riding at Fitz's house, and he like threw me a set of militia gear, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think? You want to be on the team?" kind of thing. And I'm
You're like, oh, it's
I
that
guess so.
easy?
I guess so, And no, that was it was a crazy deal because I didn't realize being on the other side of the fence how much people, like when they were booking shows and whatnot, they'd be like, "Well, we want a militia guy," kind of thing, because nobody ever asked me before because I wasn't a militia guy. But no, it kind of like definitely like boosted my shit quite a bit, and then I was on the dark side for like Nuclear Cowboys because it was all the militia team on one side versus all the good guys, and it was funny because like Bite moved down right behind me. He got a militia deal too. So then we were both on Nuclear Cowboys, and you had me and Biden on the militia side, and then you had Mason and Miller.
All your buddies
yeah,
on the good side.
And they're just like, "You fucking traitor." So I mean, there was
You sold out, bro.
I mean, I totally did because there was a paycheck, and I was pumped.
Absolutely.
So,
Don't blame you.
but no, that's kind of where that kind of went, and I don't know. After that, it kind of picked up. Like we were doing a lot of shows. Freestyle got really big there for a minute. Everyone had money. Like it was good, and then all of a sudden you just had these kids riding for like $500. They're going to do backflip in the street, metal to metal. I'm like, that I make $5,000.
Yeah.
You're going to do it for 500. Okay.
Just coming in
Yeah.
undercutting everybody.
Yeah. And that was where I'm like, man, I'm pretty over it anyways. I've done it my whole life. And I'm kind of over that whole shit.
Well, so I was going to ask you, since you were in pretty much the glory days of freestyle when it was huge, you got to obviously travel all over the world and ride a dirt bike and get paid pretty well to basically go have fun. What were some crazy like stories riding with? Let's call them the crazy guys of freestyle.
The party crowd.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that nicely, but the crazy guys in the freestyle world.
Man, I don't know like what kind of audience you're getting at or how much I want to burn my soul right now. But it was definitely like there was some nuts stuff, and I mean we were traveling the world like super crazy all over the place, making tons of money to where I remember 100% like at that time, traveling was so basic. You just walk through, like, you
Yeah.
could have anything in your bag. There was no, nothing.
No TSA,
There was
no X-ray
standing
machines,
there,
yeah.
an X-ray
Yeah.
machine, anything. All you had to do was just not beep.
Yeah.
Kind of deal, and you didn't get fucked with.
Yeah.
But like we would have chunks of like cash in our tennis shoes, each shoe, like, because you were still only allowed to have like
10 grand.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
10 was
You're
the top.
standing 3 inches taller because you had the
like,
cash in your
this says
shoes.
5'5", You're like, eh. But no, I think like that was probably some of the gnarliest stuff, was just traveling back into countries or from countries and stuff like that, and never really knowing what you had on you because you didn't know what you did the night before because you just woke up on your first flight somehow.
You're like,
that
oh,
was,
I
the
made
biggest
it?
thing. You're like, I don't even remember leaving the hotel. Like, last thing I remember, I was at the after party last night, and like it was pretty nuts.
Or some of the gnarly people you guys would do shows for, like in South America and Mexico and stuff
you'd
like
show
that.
up and you'd see your dirt bike that they got you, and you're just like, what am I supposed to do with that thing? Like, bikes would be so shitty to where you just started bringing so many parts. I think the hands down, like, Nuclear Cowboys was a lot of fun because we had such a big crew.
Yep.
But no doubt about it, the gnarliest thing I've ever done was the Rockstar Mayhem Fest.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
Mayhem
yeah,
was
those
so
were-
wild.
I mean, I was on it with
Dude.
Fitzpatrick, who is just an animal, and
Then
We're
you
trying
had,
to get Jimmy on too here soon, but
you had like
It's-
Garland and like
yeah, and Julian Deso was on there, and Nick Dunn, like it was kind of all of us. But I always thought that I knew how to party, and I've always kind of been known to be kind of a party guy and kind of a bigger drinker dude, and just kind of do whatever kind of guy. Like, I'm not turning down a good time, but I went on tour with, it was like Marilyn Manson and Korn and all these people that you become friends with them because you're on tour with them for 3 months. I mean, there's a lot of people on the tour that like make the things work, but you kind of, when you see everybody in every single day, and luckily we're the dirt bike guys, so they thought that we were cool. I don't know, whatever.
and they let us anywhere we want because I got to
Yeah.
go to a couple of Rockstar Mayhem shows
100%.
with Jimmy, and
dude, it
you
Yeah.
get all access. You're on the stage with them. You're
every
doing
every
Well,
night.
that's what I was
you
gonna
know?
say. You get like the full rock star
Yeah.
lifestyle experience, and you're like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit, these guys do this all the time."
Yeah, no, it was the gnarliest thing ever, to where just when, I think the hardest part was when you came home, because you were literally coming off of being an alcoholic, like a functioning alcoholic. And I mean, not me, but I saw other people on tour do drugs. I don't do drugs, but I think I got roofied every single night. But literally, like, when you go from that to just hitting the brakes, you're like, I mean, I don't know if I feel good, if I feel bad. Like,
Your
You have to
body-
like come back into like reality.
Your body's just
Like,
tripping out. It's like, what the
yeah.
hell are we doing?
Those
here?
first 3 days, you're waking up at home, cracking eggs in a Coors Light at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're just-
what? Fucking
Oh,
judge.
silver bullet at
Yeah.
7 a.m. Hey,
Why are you looking at me like that? Just came off tour.
It's mostly
Judgmental
water, dude.
motherfucker.
I'm just trying to hydrate, mellow out.
But no, I think hands down the craziest. And I mean, and like I had like Nick Allen, dude bro from Rockstar. We were on the
Rockstar Nick.
yeah, we were on
Dude, bro.
the freestyle riders were with Rockstar during that time, so we shared the bus with them, and it was hands down the.
Dude, he was wild. Nick was wild.
I mean, he was wild, but like somehow, and his whole crew, like, so much respect to that crew because they were the first ones up and the last ones to go to bed.
but he
They would
managed that crew
grind,
really well.
and they'd just grind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm waking up just like, oh my God, what happened? Like, I got to do a backflip in 3 hours. Fuck. All right, what are we going to do? Let's get some food in us. Let's try to sweat. Like, I'd go,
Where's the catering tent?
I'd always look for fits. And it took me like a couple weeks to figure it out. The Fitzpatrick trick is he would grab a gallon of water, and we'd like back east where it's like 100% humidity and like 95 degrees, middle of summer, just sticky, like
Dying.
the grossest shit in the
Yeah.
world. He would take a gallon of water and he'd go sit in a Sandy hut for 45 minutes and use it as a fucking
Fucking
sauna.
sauna and just sweat everything out of him.
He'd come out looking like fucking what the Smurf or something. He's all blue and fucking just shitty. He'd jump in the shower. He'd come out and he's like, "Let's rip."
You're like, what did you just do? And like, how did you turn around real
I
quick?
mean, I wasn't in there with him ever, so I don't know what he was really doing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was doing something else. I don't know.
Hey, We don't know.
Yeah, I don't really care. But
The Fitzpatrick party was always funny because there was like a point in my life, even like flying and stuff like that, I wasn't making money, and like I was kind of living more or less at Jimmy's house, and like how I got to know you guys really well. But yeah, there would be times like I knew we partied like all night, and I'd wake up the next morning looking for Jimmy, and he's like down working on the track,
grinding away.
Like, bro, it's 6 a.m. Like, how are you functioning right now?
Yeah,
Like, what do you? And he would always like, I'd pull up next to him in the truck, be like, what do you want me to start doing? And he would throw me like $40. He'd be like, Carl's Jr., go get a bunch of breakfast burritos and get back here.
I mean, I remember even like a couple, there'd be like stops on the tour to where we'd wake up and obviously like the show was going to happen no matter what, like the concert side of things. But with freestyle, like if it was straight up raining or something, like you
guys can't ride.
We're done for the day. And we were like, Unknown was on there with us too. Or if like there was just in the gravel, like whatever, you knew whether you were going to be on or off. You look at the weather and you're like, okay, it's raining. It'd be raining all morning long or something like that. And then all of a sudden the sun would come out for like 15 minutes and I'd be drunk. Like, cause I'm like, fuck yeah, day off. Like day off, let's party, let's watch, like,
no worries.
Live the good life. Neighbor needs to get a new belt. But I'd be like pretty solidly buzzed up, 6 to 10 beers, and like CLs in me, maybe a couple safety meetings.
A couple safety
and
meetings.
he'd be like, yo, Bell, I'm gonna ride. And it's like one of those things where I'm like, well, don't make me look bad.
That means I have to ride too. I can't.
And it'd be one of those things. And I forget what town we were. We were somewhere back east, and this has happened a few times. And I remember he's like, don't worry about it. Just don't ride. Like, you're good. And I think he was having a couple beers, but like he wasn't like celebrating the day off like I was.
Yeah.
and Unknown wasn't riding for sure. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to get my gear on. And I remember looking at Jimmy and looking over, and I seen like Buddy Subtle and like those Nick looking over at me, and they're like, "You really gonna ride, Bell?" Like we seen like I just shotgunned a beer like 10 minutes ago
with Buddy and Nick and Kane.
And it'd be like one of those deals. And I looked at Jimmy and I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna hit this thing exactly the same speed as you. So if you fuck up, it's on you. Like,
this is your fault if I get fucked up."
But I remember I jumped it, and like everyone like kind of looked at me, and then I went off and I flipped it the next jump or whatever. I'm like, I think I should stop.
You're landing on the wing.
We're good.
I remember like we'd go to shows, especially for California. You go to like Half Moon Bay or Hollister, where it was just, or no, Salinas. It was just always blowing, like so bad.
Oh, that was that airport one. Right? Yeah.
And it would be howling. And be like, Jimmy would be like, no, we shouldn't ride. And then like the promoter would be like, you guys sure you don't want to jump? And then all of a sudden, like,
no, he'd be like, no, you guys need to ride. Actually,
yeah, I'm not gonna name him because I like the dude. He's a cool guy. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But he would be like,
John Borba.
Okay, we're gonna name him. So,
all right, name drop.
Yeah. So and then you'd see Borba just be like, yeah, I understand that. And he'd be like making the announcement like, well, the riders are, they're going to take things extra safe and the wind's blowing a little hard. And then you'd see just Jimmy, you're like, oh, I guess we're jumping the show.
Everybody else is like, dude, now we got to ride. Why?
Didn't, who was it? UPS.
Yeah.
Didn't, if you're wondering, my door's open for the lighting. Yeah. So, I live in a cul-de-sac.
We had to get the lighting down, sometimes the environment's.
But didn't, speaking of that show, I think I rode that show only one time, and I remember it was windy as shit, and they were like, "Oh, it's actually good weather this year." But didn't like Destin like just catch a gust and miss the landing and break his leg or something? There?
Actually, yeah, he was at my house, and
a couple years ago or something.
3 years ago, he stayed at my house, and we were up there riding. I was sitting on Destin's truck, like on the bed of his truck, because I was doing shows with him for a while, and all of a sudden, like Jimmy sends it. And then like Destin just cranks a whip like he normally does, and the wind just caught him like a kite. And like I watched it for a while, I was like, that looked kind of long. Like I think he went deep on that one. And you see him like kind of.
It was a tailwind.
Yeah, it was a tailwind, and you see him riding back over to me, and he rode out, but he's like, dude, I just broke my foot. And I was like, are you serious? And he goes, I just broke my foot. I grabbed my bike, and so like I'm holding the bike, and he like. I had to like hold his bike, and he jumped up on the tailgate, and like he went to go take his boot off, and I was like, oh dude. And that show sucked because there's only one way in, one way out, and there's like a million cars trying to leave. And Destin are trying to get out of there. I was like, hey, just come back over to my house. My dad will wrap you up so you can get back home. And he's like, I got to get back home. And so I was like, all right. And I remember it was his right foot because he had to drive left-footed all the way back to Temecula.
Rule number one when you get hurt: if there's any possible way to go home and see your own doctor, you go.
Yeah. And he went long, and he just shattered his foot, and he was out for like, it was right before X Games, right? Because I think he was no, it was maybe because I want to say he like barely made X Games.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it was right before X Games, but yeah,
a little bit ago. So.
He went long out there and shattered himself. And I remember I was like, I was pushed. People were pissed at us because like we were cutting people off. I'm like, dude, like. Ryder down, broke his foot. We got to go, and they're like, "Get him to the hospital." Like they're like calling an ambulance. We're like, they're not coming here right now. Like we got to get out of here. We like cut every car off.
Part of we're leaving now. Or not getting,
dude. Like the cops were at one of the gates, and I remember like, "Hey, Ryder was riding the show. His foot's broken. We got to get out of here." And we get going, and I was in my truck, and he was in his truck, and we get going on the freeway. I was like, "Hey, you gonna follow me back to my house?" And all of a sudden, I just see him gone. And he's like, he hit me up. He's like, "I'm going home."
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, that was one of the shows. Yeah, he went long and just unfortunately, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You guys are what, 30 feet, 40 feet in the air?
Yeah.
And then you go long on a landing and you hit flats. Like that, even with good suspension.
Yeah, but I mean, and so like a typical freestyle setup, right? It's a 75-foot gap.
Yep.
And so, yeah, you're getting thrown 40 feet into the air as well, over 75 feet. So yeah, coming down is brutal no matter what. Even when you land normal, like it still kind of hurts sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like now you see where the sport has like went, and they're trying to make things safer. And respect to them for trying to do that. I mean, it's like the new airbag shit.
Airbag landing.
Me being like retired from riding freestyle. I'm like, you guys are all a bunch of fucking pussies.
I had to learn this to dirt.
You know what I mean? And like, but you have these older guys, not to say any names, but I was having a conversation with Matt Byton last night, and he called me
B10.
Yeah,
I
he
love
called me
B10.
to do and he called me to do some show like out by his house, maybe Oklahoma or Texas or something. And he's like, "Hey, it's a 10-day show, got this much money for you, yada yada. I think we're gonna use Murray's airbag because it's 10 days and these old bones, the skeleton don't like it." And I'm like, yeah, I guess I get it. Like 10 days, that makes sense, you know. But I don't know. It looks like you're just riding a big old fucking bounce house or something.
Yeah, right.
Who was it at Murray's house that
That's
missed?
what they are. They're
like,
glorified bounce houses.
He missed his bike went off the lane. He landed on the landing. Like he went to hit it, and like his bike totally missed it. And he landed on it, and walked away from it. But it was gnarly watching that.
Yeah, I think like my biggest thing though is that with these airbags is it's still fucking dangerous. There's no doubt about it. It makes it a little bit better, but I think that it's allowing these kids that have no fucking business doing a lot of things to get out there and try to do a flip or something like that. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's just one of those things because people are trying to do it at a show because there's people in the crowd.
Yeah.
And like they go, "Oh fuck, they're cheering for me." No, they want to see you crash.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's what half the people show up for.
yeah, exactly.
It's like going to hockey. You want to see a fight.
Well, I mean, like I was out there. A perfect example. I was out there when Vicky was doing her front flips shit for Real Moto this year, and we had an airbag on the landing, and the landing was so steep for that thing because she was doing it off the moon booter front flip deal, and when she landed on it, it just fucking, you know, like it just threw her kind of thing. And it was like 3 or 4 crashes in a row, and they just kept getting worse and worse. Jeez. And the one, like, I think it was like one of the last crashes, she broke her wrist.
Yeah,
or
she
something
broke
like
her
that.
wrist. Yeah.
And it was kind of one of those deals like, fuck, is this going to happen? Or like, are they just going to have to clip it and make it look like she did it? Or, you know, like kind of wondering. And it was like, you don't want to say it, but you kind of have to. You're like, I kind of think you would have been just fine if there was no airbag on it. I feel like the airbag is what made you crash.
Yeah.
She said pull it and like did it. And like, that was the one she walked away from and rode away. But like, I think she would have rode away on the very first one.
Because you're getting another balance. Like you're re-jumping when you're landing.
Exactly. So it's a catch-22. I feel like, you know, I think there's certain tricks that you could do it to and certain tricks you can't. I mean, I learned how to flip into a foam pit.
Yeah.
I used a foam pit, you know, and
I flipped into Jimmy's a couple times.
But I mean, I knew how to.
It's a brutal way to like learn stuff too, though.
Yeah, no, it hurt.
It's still, you can still get hurt. Like I never flipped to dirt, but I flipped at Jimmy's a couple times, and like I remember the first 3 times I did it, Jimmy was like, "Whatever you do, don't let go of your bike. Don't let go of your bike." And what did I do every time?
That's
threw
like
my bike.
The number one rule, and that's the first thing everyone does every time.
And I remember I threw my bike the first time, and I was upside down, threw my bike straight up, and I remember going into the foam pit and seeing my bike. I'm like, "This is why you don't throw your bike."
It's like a.
It's like coming down. You're like, that makes sense. Now. All right.
I feel like you're like I don't know if it's like something to do with dirt bikes and foam pits or something like, but all of a sudden you become a magnet.
Yeah.
And like you're the magnet and the bike is the bolt.
It's just
and
trying,
it is fucking coming at you no matter what. Like
it's
it
trying to
doesn't
kill
matter.
you no matter
I feel
what.
like the thing is just like you have this 50 by 50 foam pit. How the hell is that thing ended up with me? You know? Like, but it does every single time.
It finds you. It finds you. I think I ended up having to underflip one. Like I underflipped on purpose and took the bike in there with me just to get that fear out of my head. And I remember I was like, that hurt, but that was way less painful than me tossing the bike and the bike coming down on top of me.
Foam pits suck. I don't ever want to jump into
Oh, you
one
can't
again.
breathe in there. And
as I was
you're-
saying, you
yeah,
inhale
yeah,
the just
oh,
foam dust,
dude.
and it's hot.
You
Well,
think
yeah, because
shitty to get out of.
nobody's building a new foam pit at this point in day and age because of the new airbag thing, kind
Yeah.
of deal. But I do think that, like, to me, I think a foam pit is like step one. I think an airbag, you need to be kind of confident that you're going to get it around, kind of thing, because I think airbags still hurt you. Kind of
I was
deal.
gonna say like an airbag is more of
It's
an
like
in-between.
intermediate,
yeah,
like,
it's
level
not-
of-
You're not completely going to dirt, but you're
Yeah.
not foam, so it's like you still have to kind of be ready to
100%,
almost go to dirt.
100%. But that's the thing is like, I guess what I'm getting at is like, if there is a foam pit that you want to use, it is older than your sister's ass. And you are for sure like 99.999% better rate of having like cancer from a foam pit than a fucking cigarette or something like that. You know what I mean?
Not
Like-
everyone had the luxury of Nate Adams and
maybe
his
at the
Target.
same maybe at the same time getting bit by 19 rattlesnakes because you're at Fitzpatrick's house. Like if you're
Right.
wondering, do they live in there? Fuck yes,
Yes.
they live in there. They
You don't
are
know
in
what's
there.
at the
They-
bottom of
they
that.
They are
breathe in
big.
there.
They're healthy. You know why? Because they're stuck in there. They don't
Yeah.
know where they're going. They're just all muscled out because they're just squirming and never find the end. You know, it's like the Maze Runner or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, the foam pits were a sketchy.
Did you ever flip it all?
I never flipped. I messed around with just the BMX little ramp.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, I watched people go into the foam pit on dirt bikes, and I'm like,
Well, because you were true. Like you were even rode a couple shows here and there, didn't you?
I never rode shows. I got offered to ride shows, but I was.
I thought
so
you rode
scared.
one that one time.
Yeah.
No, I
thought
was
you
scared to go ramp to ramp. Like I could have did it because I just followed Destin off of literally everything. That was how I kind of got to know everyone. Was I just showed up at Jimmy's house one time, and all you guys were riding, and he's like, "Just follow me," and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm a little nervous." He's like, "Dude, just literally follow me off of everything," and I started riding with him a ton and going to shows with him, and like I think Jimmy offered me a couple times. He's like, "Dude, you want to ride the show?"
Yeah, 'cause
like
he knew
someone,
you'd be the cheap guy.
no, he did. He was like, "You want to
like,
ride the
"What?
show?"
Yeah.
Someone bailed out, and I'm like, I really don't want to ride
Yeah,
ramp to
nah,
ramp on
yeah.
pavement, dude. I'm a little nervous.
I feel like that was a whole I feel like that was a whole mental aspect that you just had to like kind of conquer. Of it's ramp to ramp, but like it's the
same thing over and
And
over.
it was funny because like at first the ramp to ramps were so shitty, like it was ridiculous, but they got so good that you would hear like a promoter say like, "Oh, you know, like yeah, I'm gonna have a dirt landing." You're like, "Fuck yeah!" And you show up and you look at it, and the pile of dirt was like this big. And you're like,
It's super peaked out.
Man,
All
like,
steep, no deck on
no
it or
safety
anything.
deck. I'm like,
Costa Mesa.
yeah, let's get
Land on the pyramid at Costa
Let's go
Mesa.
ahead and just bring in that metal landing over there. You know what I mean? But yeah, no.
Yeah, that was I mean, growing up, like he was kind of talking about, like it was weird going to shows like that, like local shows at Costa Mesa Speedway, and like seeing all those guys riding, and then like a couple years later, I end up like riding with all you guys too, and I'm like, huh, this is definitely like way different than you thought it would be, where it's just
Yeah, there
look
was
up-
no like music and like smoke.
Yeah,
There was a
fireworks.
fire just popping off every
Yeah,
time you revved
there's
up your
no
bike.
fireworks,
It
and
was.
yeah.
It had nothing to do with A1. It was just.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you guys just, you're just gonna ride a
Yeah.
little bit. Oh, okay, cool. No, but it was like, it was so funny because you look up to those people and you're like, whoa, like those guys are gnarly. You
And
know?
then it just brought you down. You're like, yeah.
No,
I
and
need
then you
better
get
gear,
there.
That's for sure.
you get there and you're just like, oh, these dudes are just like any other guy that's like riding. Like they're just normal people, like that just got lucky that we're good at something.
Yeah, no, I think it's like they're just. It's like you said that everybody's just normal. I mean, you get certain people that get a little bit of fame or a little bit of money behind
Right.
them, and it changes and everything. But everybody's still the same thing, and everyone's it's a pretty good pushing, helping. It's a tight knit group because you see a lot of gnarly shit.
Well, it's a small community too.
yeah,
Not
for
it's not
sure.
obviously
I mean,
as big as like racing would be. It's definitely a smaller, tighter crew of people. So it's
and there's a morbid side, dude. Like we've lost buddies in the sport, you know, and there's been friends, and
it's
luckily, like I haven't been there when things have actually happened on the very worst side. I've seen some bad crashes, but I haven't seen anyone die. But like I know, like you guys have had to see your buddies die, and like that's a tough side that you guys have to be able to like manage that through your brain, and then like still be willing to go and keep the show going, you know, because that was your buddy. But on the other side, like you said, you guys help each other. And like, that was like, you guys were some of the biggest confidence boosters ever to my riding, because like, there'd be so many times I'd be riding out there, whether it'd be like you or Byton or Jimmy or someone would be like, dude, you got this. Like, I've watched you ride, you can do it. And like, they'd be like, here, follow me off this. And like, you guys would see potential and you guys could walk people through it. Like your coaching was like awesome. Like
yeah, but I mean, I'll be honest, 9 times out of 10, like we didn't want you to get hurt, but we wanted to see you crash.
Yeah, no, probably. Yeah.
Like, let's see how this really goes.
Yeah.
He thinks he's fucking got it. Watch this.
Hey, the moral last words.
Who wants
Oh,
to see
you
a big
got
ass
it, dude.
stunt? Yeah. No, it's pretty good. And like a place like Jimmy's house, which is one of the most iconic freestyle spots in the world. Everything's so big, but like everything's so safe in a way. You know what I mean? Like you've got 50 feet between that.
You have massive landings,
Yeah,
big
yeah,
safety
yeah.
decks to where, you can go short, go long, you'll still be okay.
Yeah.
But when you're someone like me that never really like rode a freestyle ramp, going into that, I was shitting my pants.
It looks more intimidating. I feel like it looks more intimidating with how big everything is, even though it really realistically is safer.
Well, yeah, and then in the back of my head too, I'm like, these guys are all like doing this for a living and
They're for
ride here
sure
all the
watching.
time. Yeah, I'm like, these guys are all watching. If I fuck up, I'm gonna look so dumb.
Like they're gonna judge me.
Yeah, that's
dude.
it.
We judge you when you pulled in.
Well, that's what I'm
unloading
saying.
your bike.
That's what I'm saying. So
Look at
then
this fucking guy.
when you start riding with people, and then you start realize like, oh yeah, they're just talking shit like everybody else is, and that's what's like was funny.
I feel
though.
like that's like one of the biggest things. Like if you ever like, people are like, that guy doesn't like me, he makes fun of me. No, if he doesn't like you, he ain't even gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
Like you don't even, it's like,
If he's making fun of you, like he's
Yeah,
probably gonna be
you guys
boys
are
with you.
good.
Yeah, you guys are
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you're doing all right.
Like you're part of the crew. If he's somewhat, if you're getting made fun of, like they acknowledge that you're there, kind of thing. So,
100%.
Yeah.
Not a complete and total douche.
Yeah.
But so like we were saying, obviously freestyle it's dangerous, it's gnarly. You guys have had to travel to, probably some pretty crazy spots as well. What was one of your gnarliest, like scariest spots you've ever ridden?
Oh man. I don't know. Like I've definitely been I did a lot of shows in Mexico in like some really gnarly, touchy spots that were kind of just pretty crazy. And I remember we were doing like a handful of spots in Mexico, and Nick Dunn flew in. I think it was either the weekend before me or I went home and he stayed to do another one. And we fly in, and they're like, yeah, what kind of bike do you ride or something? And I remember I wasn't there. I flew home literally a couple days before. But like, oh, yeah, we ride Yamahas or whatever, or Hondas, whatever bike. Well, they got him the wrong bike or something of that sort. And he's like, I can't ride this thing, like none of my stuff fits on it. And I remember he's like, they pulled guns on him and we're like, look, we got people in the crowd. You're either going to ride this show or you're going to die. So he rode his first show on a Honda.
So you want me to ride the Honda? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I was thinking of switching actually.
I
pretty
like
soon.
red.
I think I've definitely been in some pretty gnarly situations in Mexico and stuff like that. But honestly, for the most part, everything that I was going to do in a lot of weird places, whether it was China or Australia or Switzerland or Sweden or wherever the hell I was at, I always went with pretty good groups of people into pretty solid situations that I kind of knew that everything was going to be okay. I feel like there was more sketchy people in the United States because, there's like, yeah, we're not going to pay you.
Yeah.
You see how many people were in the crowd? Yeah, we can't cover, or like
Sorry, guys.
shit like that. But it wasn't like, it was gnarly places because it was places that you just didn't want to get hurt in, kind of thing.
Yeah, just
Like,
dealing with
I mean,
language barriers.
Yeah,
too.
I broke my foot. I broke my foot really bad and ripped my Achilles off, and I was deep in Mexico. And it was just one of those things that I remember the girl I was dating at the time. I called her and it's almost one of those things. Like I think everybody knows when you're like out of the country or something. Like no news is good news.
Yeah.
And if the phone rings, it's probably because something happened, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And especially if the phone rings from one of your friends that are at that show with you.
Yeah, not you.
Like you know, like something bad, and that's exactly what kind of had happened. I called my chick at the time, and I remember telling her, I'm like, hey, she's like, oh no, did you get hurt? Or I'm like, yeah. What's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. It's something with my foot. I'm like, just get me a flight right now.
Yeah, get me out of the
kind deal,
country.
like
Yeah.
get me home, kind of thing. And
Especially in Mexico.
Yeah.
I want to go
yeah,
home.
like I'm on my way to the airport right now. She's like, well, who do you want to? I'm like, I don't care who I fly with. Just give me a first class ticket. Buy it right now.
Yeah.
Get me fucking home as soon as you can. Pick me up and we'll go to the hospital. But it'll just show you, like, you be in weird spots and you're like, I ain't losing this motherfucker right here. Like,
Yeah.
we're going.
Didn't that
home.
happen to Scotty, like in Dominican Republic with Biting? Like
Yeah.
Scotty grenaded in the background of the shot.
Yeah, he got hurt there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the thing.
And they had to like limp him on the airplane and get him home and Matt.
It's not like, and that's
yeah.
the thing is, it's not like, I never felt like it was any sketchier being in those countries or whatever, because like you practice and you do your homework and you go to work. It's just one of those things. You have bad days. It sucks when they happen out of the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, your last
shit
bad one
happens.
was Canada, right?
Yeah, I mean, and then, like Canada is not even another country. I feel like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
They're
Like,
just the neighbors up north.
yeah, but I was in Toronto, and the worst part about Toronto is like it's like 75% French, and that's the worst. That was the worst issue. But when I broke my femur there, and it was one of those deals like going to the hospital, and I get to the hospital, and it was like I had a pretty bad break on it or whatever, and I remember that like they put me out and did whatever they did, kind of like reset it or something like that. And it
Put
was
in traction.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Traction's
And it was
fun.
It was before. It actually was fun because they put
No,
me
I,
on.
no, I
He's
was,
done it.
I was gonna say, well, because I crashed out in Beaumont and I
Yeah.
broke my femur too.
Yeah.
And we went to Riverside County Regional, which was the sketchiest hospital. I didn't even get a real traction device. They just tied a string to my ankle and hung a weight over the bed.
I just remember them filling me up with the ketamine or whatever, and like I felt like I was in like this video game. Like that's the coolest drug. ever
Oh,
in
was
the
it
whole entire world.
Dilaudid? Did they give you Dilaudid?
I
Because
don't
that's
know.
what they
It was
gave
fucking-
me, and that's
I just felt like I was in a video
dude.
game.
No, hey, it's
Good
magic. You feel it like go through your body.
I felt like
and you're
remember
just like-
Sonic the Hedgehog, like he'd roll up in a ball and like I felt like that kind of shit. Like I just fucking
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they
I was
gave you
able
something
to-
else.
I was able to go wherever I
I
wanted.
was able to go wherever.
I don't know what those
but,
French people were
yeah.
giving you, but yeah, maybe.
But like the biggest thing is like they threw a rod in or whatever the next day or whatnot, and like I had lost like a ton of blood, so I remember having to do like a handful, like 3 or 4 transfusions or whatever, blood transfusions, and I was good, and I was like, all right, let's get the fuck out of this place. I'd been there for a couple days, and they're like, oh, you can't fly. I'm like, no way. And so our biggest thing was I had to get a fucking medical flight.
I remember
Yeah.
like trying to get you home.
yeah,
And it was like, and
Yeah.
I think your name even came in like,
Yeah.
we just need somebody to fucking fly up here and pick me up, kind of thing.
Yeah, I was trying to get an airplane to come up and get you.
Yeah, and it was like,
yeah.
I remember Biden and Fitzpatrick were like, yo, we're gonna rent a fucking motorhome. We'll fucking come grab you. And I'm like, I do not want to ride in the back of a motorhome with you motherfuckers with my fucking leg bouncing from Toronto to California. Like, I will rent an
He's bringing the
apartment here.
plague.
Yeah.
He's bringing the plague.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
not a fucking chance. But yeah, I mean, that's just like I've gotten hurt a ton of times in other places, whether it be another country or even just when you're on the road kind of thing. Like, you don't really get hurt when you're practicing at home. It's always at a show.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just such a pain in the ass to get home, and you don't want to get fixed. I mean, here we live in the Mecca, Southern California. You live in the Mecca of dirt bikes. Everybody gets fixed here, kind
Yep.
of thing. So
Yep.
there's like
Like everyone goes to the same doctor because
yeah,
they,
that's what I
they have
mean,
the
and
whole,
they're
like,
on and they get it. They
they
know,
got the jerseys on the wall. And
well, and
everything.
I think that's like the biggest thing is you have a dude that works at a computer every day, and he works at Amazon or something like that. He wants to get that doctor's note to stay off work as long as he can.
Yeah.
I want to get that doctor's note that says, let this motherfucker go rip.
Yeah, because you
know
need
what
to
I
get
mean?
paid.
Like, we need to get back to it kind
Yeah.
of thing. So it's like they get it. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, we totally went fucking left right
Hey,
there.
we
But,
always
we
It's
always
all
do.
good.
No, we always do. It's
I think
good.
for the most part, everywhere I went into weird countries and stuff was pretty solid. pretty
Yeah.
pretty good.
Well, I mean, you kind of just went into the direction that I was actually going to start going into too. Was, I mean, after breaking your femur and stuff, that was kind of towards the end of when you were ready to kind of, retire. I mean, you're still riding now, but you're not
I
doing
probably
it.
fucking ride more now than I.
That's
am.
what
Ripping the track now.
I mean,
You're
you're
just
more of
killing
a
it on the
track
track.
guy,
Yeah.
right? But you're definitely towards the end of the professional freestyle.
Yeah,
side of
before I got hurt up in Canada when I broke my femur, I was already over it and checked out in my own head. I really was. Like, I know this is like a shitty thing to say, and I think a lot of people don't talk about the selfish side of things, but I absolutely hated like meet and greets and autographs and like you can say what you want, but I don't give a fuck about your old 83 fucking, bull taco that your grandpa brought and you rode and shit like that, man. Like, I don't fucking know you. But like, I don't like people, you know what I mean? I'm really like, I have a lot of friends. Like, there's not even a fucking waiting list. Like, I just don't want anybody else in my life. And
if you're in it,
feel
you're
like
in it. If
I'm trying to be better and be a nicer human being. And I think that's like being part of like getting older and like seeing how much of a dick I really was. And I'm not happy about it. But during that time, I fucking hated people. Like, I just,
Well,
I'm
dude,
like
like
if
you're
you're down
saying,
there and like getting ready to go and stuff, and some guy comes up to talk to you, you're like, who the fuck are you and how'd you get down here?
yeah, you're like,
Security, get this fucking guy. I don't know. Like, it bothered me. And like, that's when I think that's when I always knew like 100% so blessed to do what I did and make a living and not really have to get a real job, I guess you would say. But I always told myself, like, when it's not fun anymore and you know what I mean, then if you hate going to work, then you should do something else.
Yeah.
if your heart's not in it, it's hard to be
100%. And I was already kind of getting over it at that point. I got hurt in Canada and came home, got all fixed. And it was like one of those things, like I treated it as I want to get back on the bike as soon as I can. Because the little guy on your shoulder is like, you're going to be fucking scared.
It's always in the
And
back
you got to
of
get
your
rid of that
head,
little guy over there.
Yeah, and like it was kind of one of those things. Like I was 100% over it, but after riding dirt bikes, I rode dirt bikes professionally from 16 years old to I don't know what 35 or something like that. I couldn't let an injury end me.
Right.
That was my biggest thing. And I remember like coming back riding and everything. Swap Moto wanted to do like a little piece on me, I think he was hooking me up. I don't think he wanted to do anything for me. I think he was hooking me up because he knew like I needed to like get something out there, and that was when magazines were still a thing.
Yeah.
When he was over at Transworld, so he had somebody come out and do some pictures, and it was like I don't think I had like it was like my third day back or first. It might have been first day back. I don't know what it was, but I remember like selling myself for some shows in like Switzerland and Sweden or something like that. And I'm like, oh fuck, I guess I gotta flip my dirt bike here, huh? Like,
You guys are gonna make me do this.
And I remember like getting, I was nervous because I was out for like 7 or 8 months or whatever. So like I was a little nervous, but I knew it was there and gave it a yank, came right around. Went and did the shows overseas, and that was kind of real special for me because at the time, my girlfriend was over there riding with me too, and I kind of knew going there that this could be like one of my last shows, and it's one of the coolest shows I've ever went to, Geneva Supercross. Like,
I was gonna say, kind
it's
of like
really,
a cool like last hurrah to be able to
one of the cool ones, and we did our whole show, and it's a 2-night deal, and I remember Saturday night just like. Everything was good. Like everything was solid. They were like good vibes over there. They got fucking chainsaws and air horns in the crowd. Like it's fucking legit. You know what I mean? And I remember the last jump was like a KOD backflip or something like that, and jumped off, did it, and I landed, and like something just hit me. Like, all right, we're good.
We're good.
And like I was done.
That was it. Yeah.
And I mean, a ton of people wanted me to do shows and stuff like that. Like it was no shortage of getting the phone call to go ride shows. My head just wasn't in it anymore. And it was kind of one of those things. And luckily for me, every time I get hurt, I've always picked up the microphone just for one, to do something, two, to make a little bit of cash. So it kind of like, I knew in the back of my head that I had another job.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then I got super, super lucky. Monster brought me right in, gave me a deal, and I went straight into doing I think at that time we were doing 17, 18 NASCAR events a year.
Oh, that's right. You were announcing all the NASCAR stuff originally. Yeah.
We did all those with
like you and Twitch and Axel and Unknown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we did all those, and then we did some usually three or four supercrosses and that kind of shit. So we all stayed super busy, and it's like we still I still went every single weekend with everybody.
Yeah.
I just didn't have to bring a gear bag. I just bring a regular bag.
Well, it's funny because it's literally you're transitioning right into my next question, which was you went.
Yeah, I've done this before.
No, I know, exactly. No, but so that's what I mean though. So you basically just made an easy transition into announcing.
Yeah.
Was it just, I mean, that had to have been so nice to be able to, like you're saying, hang out with all the boys still. You're hanging out with everybody, having fun, being able to go to all these places still, but you just took away the stress of having to ride.
Yeah, it was just one of those things everybody still looked at me because I was the old guy riding freestyle, so everyone always looked at me of weird questions or whatnot, of anything, if they felt weird or whatnot. And they'd be like, "Hey, Bell, does the ramp look lined up?" I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Figure it out. What's the ramp setup?
Can you grab the tape and go run over to the knuckle and see?
That's not my job anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm out.
Does this look straight? Do you think we need to pop it up a little bit, or is it what kind of downhill?
He's over in the corner going, check, fuck you, don't care, check.
And I remember just kind of everyone's like, dude, you have to miss it, right? Like fans that were there or whatever, and they're like, don't you miss it? You're just standing there, and I'm like, no, I'm fucking good, man. And then you show up to a show that is a little bit windy, or maybe it's a little wet from the rain, but all the guys are like, yeah, fuck, I guess we could do it, but that it's sketchy,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you think, Bell? I'm like, I'm good either way, with a beer. Let me know what you guys want to do. We're working or we're not. I don't really give a shit. Just let me know which way you guys want to go.
Tell me what time you want me to make the announcement and get the crowd going.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys want to hit
You guys ride, I'll warm up the vocal cords.
And I remember the biggest thing, and I always hated this when I was riding freestyle, but one of the biggest things was, hey, well, why don't you guys just go out and hit it a couple times, and if it's too windy, just don't ride. And I'm like,
you can't really do that. You can't really just go.
Well, I'm already fucking jumped it.
Yeah.
So that everyone saw me jump it.
Yeah, now everyone's
and
going, why are they not riding it?
Say, well, now I'm going to be a pussy.
Yeah.
It always looks
Mama
so stupid.
ain't raised no bitch.
Yeah. Or the guy would be like, hey, can you just go out and do some wheelies and shit? No, you didn't fucking hire Doug DeMocus or whatever. You know what I mean?
The wheelie king.
Yeah. No. So now going over, I think that was, at first I definitely didn't miss it at all. I was super good and happy with it. Announcers didn't have to sign autographs. That was fucking sweet. I like that part. And like I said, I mean, I feel bad saying that kind of thing, but it's the truth. Nobody else will fucking say it,
Well, a lot of people don't have to deal with that either. Your normal average 9-to-5er doesn't have people coming up to him all the time and just.
Well, it's the dude wants to talk in the line. I'm like, look, motherfucker, I already gave you 3 answers. There's another 75 people behind you. Your fucking steak closes at 1 a.m. at the bar. We need to get this shit rolling, dude. If you want to meet me at the bar, we can sit here and talk.
Well,
I'm fucking into it. But right now, I need to get out of this fucking spot.
I don't want to be in this gear anymore. I want to drink a beer. Yeah. Keep her moving.
I think, though, I definitely do have, and I still do, if we're at a legit place and a legit setup, big dirt landings or something like that, I'm like, fuck, that looks fun to ride, or some dirt jumps out there, you get into stuff, or even if it is, ramp to ramp or whatever, and you just have a kick-ass crowd, something like that. I'm like, fuck, they don't really give a shit that I'm an announcer. It'd been cool to ride dirt bikes right now. But no, I like it. I still travel so much, and I mean, before the fucking swine flu came out, we were,
the damn Rona.
The Rona.
We were grinding, and
it's on hold till 10 p.m. this Saturday though. It shows up again.
You don't get it during the day.
You don't get it during the day, yeah.
It's coming back into town.
Yeah, it's coming back. It caught a late flight.
Yeah, I saw one. I saw
the red eye.
They're like, who put fucking Rona on the graveyard shit? Fuck, But no, I like it. I still get to travel a shit ton. I'm still with everybody. Like I said, I mean, now I kind of was like super over it. And when I first retired, like I kind of just stepped back from dirt bikes in general. And minus being at the show to announce them, I didn't even ride. Like it was kind of fuck. I don't think I rode for almost a year. I was just, I don't know. I didn't have any will to want to ride dirt bikes. I just wanted to get drunk and be an asshole and stuff like that. And that's probably why I ended up single, like for sure. But it's kind of weird. Like I'm back into it now. And I think literally for the last year, I've ridden more in the last year than I've ridden in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Really?
You're killing it on the track
But
now.
it's because
It's just
it's
fun
fun.
now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna
It's
say
fun
it's
now,
more
you know,
just
and-
you get to enjoy it now. It's not your
Yeah.
job. You don't have to go somewhere you really don't want to.
Yeah, and I think like and a lot of the other old freestyle dudes, like they're all into the track now too. I mean, Twitch probably hasn't hit a ramp in 6 months or something like that, you know.
But you guys are ripping
But
the
we
track.
ride the track every day. Like
He's on the 110 life though, hard.
he is. Well, he's not on the 110 life.
Yeah.
He just sells the shit.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
But no, I like it. It's good.
It's weird how you go from like you're over something, then you kind of miss it. Like flying, there was definitely parts where I was like, dude, like I'm on the road every Christmas, every holiday, like I'm missing every birthday, funerals, whatever. Like I'm international. I'm far, far away, you know? But like this year, like I've done 12 trips maybe this whole year. And like one, like my pocket hurts like pretty bad from this. But two, like there's definitely days I'm like, dude, like I miss flying. Like I miss being in the airplane. I miss like taking off and knowing I'm coasting out going to Europe or something tonight.
Like I haven't had a cavity search in like 6 months.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I miss
But I mean, it's
I
weird.
miss that rubber glove,
Yeah.
dude.
It's weird, like when you go from something that you're just kind of over and then it's gone for a while, but that was so much of your life. Like you
Yeah.
definitely, there's times that you look at stuff and like, I'll go by the airport and I see jets taking off. I'm like, man, like it's been like, I'm going on like 3 months without even being in the airplane right now. Like it's tough. Like,
Matt passes the airport and a single tear rolls down his back.
right?
We've actually like I've just now slowly started to get back to work, and I've been announcing some stuff the last couple months. It's kind of back east. I don't know if you know, but like in Texas and Oklahoma and stuff like that, COVID doesn't live there.
Yeah.
They just don't give a
Oh,
shit.
dude, like
yeah.
North Dakota, like I seen like Murray and stuff in like Idaho, Montana, North Dakota.
I just went and did a deal. I was like, I flew into Dallas. COVID lives in Dallas. It's there.
It's there.
But I went out and did that Jason Anderson Team Fried Halloween Classic or whatever.
Oh, that was sick.
And so we were like an hour and a half out of Dallas, and me and my buddy Ricky walk up to go to a little restaurant and grab a beer or whatever for dinner, and he's got a mask on and I got one in my pocket, and the lady looks at him and she's like, "Sweetheart, Rona don't live here." You know, like,
All
take
polite
that-
Southern
take
Belle.
Take that fucking mask off, boy.
You
You know,
look
kind of
some
deal,
sort
and,
of
like-
stupid, boy.
But it was seriously, it's one of those things. Like it's just nobody even like it was
don't give a
totally
shit,
totally
yeah.
normal and everything. And then I think the dirt bike side of the world is pretty much they don't give a shit either. I think because everybody's pretty healthy for the most part, and you know, like
You guys are
they're not worried.
athletes, you know.
Yeah,
you guys
I
are
mean, I wouldn't
trained.
go that far, but you know what I mean. Like everybody's super active, and they're not worried about getting anything. So it's pretty normal. And with announcing that, like it's been pretty good. And we got a couple things coming up, and I'm getting ready to do here in a couple weeks. I'm going to do that Caselli Ride Day thing.
Oh, nice.
And Little D hits me up and he's asking me, you know, if I want to do it or whatever. I go, yeah, you know, and I don't really ask him any questions. I just was like, you just tell me what time to be there and maybe shoot me an email and about what I need to talk about, or, you know, like your points that you want hit all day, and I'll make it happen. No big deal. And he's like, yeah. And like sound system will all be done, so you don't have to worry about that. I got 2 wireless mics so that, you know, you don't have to be too close. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's right. Now we got to, you know, like that whole, you see, like you're watching like Supercross and shit, and everybody has a test to get into the building, but they're still standing 38 feet away with masks on and shit like that.
Dude, that's
and
my
like you hear
favorite.
like Daniel Blair like interviewing Fernandez, who already can't speak fucking English, you know, and like he don't understand anything.
Sound like
Don't
a
get me
dog
wrong.
with
Don't get me
peanut butter
wrong.
on
I
it.
fucking love Fernandez, but like he don't fucking know anyway. So now you're 30 feet away in the wind of fucking Salt Lake with masks on and shit. And he's like, what the fuck did you say? You know, like,
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's super funny, like seeing all these people doing the interviews, and they're like,
Yeah, I rode real good on the track.
There's like a 6-foot pole with a
Yeah.
microphone attached to it.
You want
You're
me
like,
to
you look
stretch-
stupid.
I'm 5'6". There ain't a thing on me that's 6 foot. Like, I can't fucking. They're like, straighten your arm out. I'm like, yeah, you got 2 feet.
You got 2 feet.
This is all I got, literally.
And like,
That's all I got.
I'm measuring up right now.
I rounded up. Yeah. This is all I got. Don't yell at me.
Yeah, but no, I mean, what are getting at? Announcing's cool. I like it.
Well, like
I think it fits my personality pretty good.
I was gonna say, I think you definitely, and since you have the background in it, it's super nice hearing somebody that knows what they're talking about.
Hey, but let me tell
Hey,
you,
it ain't the easiest thing. I've
Dude,
gotten
oh my
roped
God,
into having
hey.
to announce a couple times.
I
I
like-
watched him do one, and I was dying because he, like, you could tell he was so nervous, and he was just like, "That was shit."
yeah, I think like, and like I've been thrown into some awkward situations of like, hey, Kenny, can you cover this too? And I'm like, yeah, fuck, why not? You know what I mean? Like, you learn. I mean, I think like the whole world knows how much of like sheep people are now, and like they'll just do whatever you tell them. But like, that was my biggest thing. If you come off like you know what the fuck you're talking about, even to the dude that lives and breathes that thing that you're talking about, if you like just hit him with them straight eyes and you're like, yo, no, yeah. He's just like, fuck, I never knew that. And you're just floating something like you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, no, that was invented in 1786. And he's like, I didn't even know there was a flip phone in 1786. I'm like, I know, crazy, right?
Absolutely.
It's just like people are so fucking stupid. If you talk with them and like you just like hit them with the knowledge and you're like,
If you hold your
crazy,
ground.
huh?
They're like, fucking,
man.
this guy knows what he's talking about. He's looking me straight in the eyes.
Yeah. And then they get home and they get on the old Google and they're like, that fucking dude.
This lying son of a bitch.
But you know what I mean? Like if you just act like you fucking know what you're talking about, people are like,
Yeah.
that is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
So I'm like, what do you want me to do? Your kid's birthday? I'll fucking announce anything.
Kid's birthday.
Fucking don't matter. Like somebody
Let's hear it for Timmy. He's turning 7.
yeah, you know.
People are like, whoa, I didn't know. Turning 7's fucking cool.
Right? I remember when I turned 7.
Damn.
Man, I wish I had an announcer like that on my 7th birthday.
Right?
Big walkout.
Kenny's actually just booking birthdays now left and right. He's making turning 7 the coolest thing on the planet.
Slide in them DMs. Kenny Taco Bell.
Kenny Taco Bell.
He'll announce anything.
He'll announce
Anything.
everything.
I will, especially once.
Once.
You know what I mean? Like you get hired like at the dump or something like that, like Saturday, $10 Saturday, and I just get on the microphone. I'm like, look at this dude throw the TV. Come on, smash it. You know, I'll build anything up. You need a hype man? Or do you just feel bad about yourself? I'll walk around you all day in Walmart with my mask on and I'll pump you up.
Look at this guy.
Look
He's
at this.
grabbing.
2-ply? He went 2-ply. Fuck yeah. That's a man that cares about his asshole.
The toilet paper might be sold out. Ooh, he made a wrong turn on the toilet paper
Oh, he's
aisle.
going for the baby wipes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love what he's doing over there.
This was a wrong week to go on the cleanse. Wrong week to go on the cleanse.
The juice cleanse. That's crazy. I mean, what's it like too, just being able to do Nitro Circus shows where you're basically in stadium environments, like packed.
Yeah, the
And-
Nitro Circus stuff was pretty cool, man. And I got to. There's a couple dudes out there that I guess you would say like switch directions and in a way like look up to, and they're those dudes that announce things that like that you're like that dude is fucking good.
Yeah, you're like,
You know
that's
what
the
I mean?
guy.
Like,
yeah.
and I got to work with Micah Kranz, and I think even like his Instagram is like Nitro Circus MC or something. Like, he's fucking.
He owns that
committed.
title.
He's fucking committed to the fucking deal. But he used to announce me when I was riding and everything like that, and then like I came over, and it was crazy. Like you see how good somebody is because when you're in a live show like that, it never goes the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like, it never does. And our job is just to not let the crowd know that, holy shit, everybody back there is freaking the fuck out. Next up is whatever.
But look
it's
at
up,
how
but,
sick
like,
this shit's
yeah.
actually going out here. Don't worry
And,
about
like,
it.
being able to watch, I think, like, because when you're the rider guy, you don't really notice it so much. But when you're part of the actual show and you're on that aspect of it, you hear everything, and I've got earphones in, so I hear them freaking out, which sometimes it's like, yo, you're on a live fucking headphone. Like, you probably shouldn't tell me what's going on right now.
Yeah.
But seeing how, like, in those big stadiums and big shows and that aspect, seeing the crew in the background make shit happen and never letting the whole crowd know that anything happened, I think that's one of like the most amazing things. Like,
Just super
I've
professional.
ridden in front of so many people, and you know, I've been in you know, football stadiums that are sold out kind of thing and stuff like that, and 60, 70,000 people. Seeing how it works though is pretty fucking impressive. That I think you just take for granted because you're like, well, I'm the dirt bike guy. Like, without me,
You're
fucked.
nothing, yeah.
You're fucked. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like you see those dudes just grinding back there, but like Ricky Melanick and Dove and like those guys from Nitro Circus, they're like the funnest dudes and everything like that. But when it comes to business, those fucking guys are smart and they know how to like put that fire out and like just keep the thing rolling. So I'd say like, which is probably the weird answer, but like the background, seeing like what goes into that shit is fucking nuts to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts that go into that.
Yeah,
too.
100%.
And like you're saying, when you're the dirt bike guy, you're the dirt bike guy. You show up, put your
You
gear
know,
on.
you got 10 jumps.
Yeah, exactly. You show up, you
Boom.
put your gear on, you ride. That's it. Those dudes
Yeah.
are worrying about the pyro. They're worrying about the sound. They're worrying about getting everybody there. They have
because in a show like that, everything was off of cues.
everything
what I
is
mean?
like
Like-
there's so much that goes into just doing a live show like that you don't really think about as a rider. But now
Yeah.
that you're on the other side, you're like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
it's pretty nuts.
Was it harder to talk to like 30,000 fans and ride in front of 30,000 fans? Like, you have a helmet on, people can't really
No.
see your reaction, but like you actually just being the face of the.
No, I was okay with that. That didn't really bother me at all. I think the hardest thing that I give it up to a lot of the announcers that do bigger stadiums and stuff like that is delay is a real thing. If you don't have like headphones, like if you're in like a legit stadium, usually you'll have headphones, and so you don't hear what's coming out of the PA speakers. You hear what's coming out of the microphone.
Yeah. Like
So
this,
that's-
basically.
so yeah,
You're
so
in
this is-
direct contact.
This is real time.
Yeah.
Perfect example. I did that the Harvest Festival that we did for you.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
the guy that hooked that up. That was Anaheim Stadium. Completely, kids are riding bicycles. You know, Harvest Festival was in Anaheim Stadium, completely sold out. I forgot my headphones. It was my fault for sure. But I'm like, hey, do you guys have an extra set, a spare set? And they're like, no, we don't. You fucking dirt bike, long hair, fucking faggot. You know, like,
Wow, they said that, huh?
yeah. I'm like, aren't we here for God?
Those religious
Jesus.
people are tough.
The sound
Wow,
people
I'm gonna have to talk to people
the
at the
sound
church.
people at that deal were fucking dicks. There was no doubt about it. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, no worries. Like, I'll make it happen. I got to talk for 10 minutes. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But literally, like, you say a sentence and you start your next sentence, and the first sentence is just now coming out of the PA.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, trying to like
So in
go
your
through
own
that.
head, you're like,
yeah.
shit,
That was
fuck.
that was one of the hardest things I think to get over. Now it's weird. Like, even with those stadiums, like being as loud as they are, there's like a light switch that you can just turn it off, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
talking to people never really bothered me. Like,
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of cool too. Obviously, because you are a rider, you kind of know what riders want as well. So when you
they're
have,
stupid.
well,
So you gotta answer the question that you're giving while you're asking the question,
oh my
and then you're good.
well, but like, so
Stupid.
you know, from a rider's perspective, when you have a sick crowd, you're way more into it.
Yeah, no, for
It's
sure.
way easier to ride a show and be pumped to ride a show when the fans are actually like,
But the biggest problem with that is like when you have something like that and there's a million people in the crowd or something like that, the announcer's job is actually pretty fucking easy. It gets hard when you're in like this little town in Nebraska.
And there's 3 people.
Yeah. Like, let's
hear it.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, they're like, hey, let's do a whip contest and we'll let the crowd decide who's the winner. What'd you think of Devin? You got one mom who thinks your tractor's sexy. She's like pumped. And then, so the winner got 2 kids that screamed. You know, you're like, oh, fuck, I don't know. The mom was pretty fucking loud, but this one had 2 people. So like, I think littler shows are harder than the big shows. I think.
I will say it's awkward. Like, I announced a show for no one, literally. It was just me and the riders, and I had to, Mark made me go out there and talk.
Yeah.
And there was literally, we were in Red Bluff at the fairgrounds, and it was me, Byton, Murray, and Luke. We were all up there, and then I'm announcing. Mark's like, you got to announce. I'm like, dude, there's no one in this. Like, there's no one here. Like,
You're like, for who?
there's no one. And we had to go out there and put on a show because it was so hot, and it was like Thursday when no one's at the fairgrounds, and like the next couple shows got crowded. But yeah, I'm literally just talking to no one.
He wanted you,
no,
though.
the little shows are the hardest ones, you know. Like the big ones they're turnkey, they just roll kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but little ones suck.
That's true. So we kind of talked about it too. Now that you've kind of gotten into the rider management side of things, like,
Right.
I mean, what's your role for doing like rider management stuff like that?
I think that for me, I've been in dirt bikes my whole entire life. I've never really had a real job, I guess, that like I had to go somewhere in like 9 to 5, 100%.
Yep.
So I think I've just made so many connections and I've met so many people that it's kind of worked out to where they'll pick up my call kind of thing. You know what I mean? To where, you know, if an agent's calling you, but like if Kenny Bell's calling you, you don't know if he wants to go to Cabo and get drunk, if he's in Newport where you live and just wants to grab dinner,
Right, yeah.
or like wants to see if you want to ride on Saturday, or hey, do you got $100,000 to give this person? You know what I mean?
Hey,
So-
do you have 100
so
grand?
I think,
Rolling the
I
dice
think
when you
they kinda
answer Bell's
I think-
call.
Yeah, I think they kind of answer no matter what because they're like, "What the fuck did he want today?" You know. And but no, like I mean, I've helped super busy people. I don't want to like say any names or anything.
Yeah, I
but,
mean, you don't have to name drop.
but you know, like I've definitely done a lot of deals and a lot of things and helped line stuff up, and it's definitely pretty easy for me. I know what people are worth. I know what companies are worth. I know how much, you know, I mean, I've seen it. Everybody talks like it's really weird though. Like if you think about it, and this is a little bit off the table, but like in every sport in the world, professional sport, you know exactly how much Michael Jordan signed for.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what every football player on the team costs. You know all that stuff. In motocross, it is such a secret.
Everything is very like under
Yeah,
the table.
like
yeah,
hush
like,
hush, yeah.
Like
very
why,
quiet.
You know, like
Yeah.
why is it a big deal that if you had, let's just throw a number out, that Ken Roxon signed for $10 million for 3 years?
Why?
Is he not worth it? Like
yeah,
what's?
right.
I don't
The
understand.
guy's
like,
worked his ass off and he's put in
and
the
then
results.
you have a guy like, say, perfect example for this year, like a Joey Savacci or something like that just barely snuck in and got a ride and wasn't going to get anything. And more than likely, he's probably riding for fucking damn near nothing.
Dirt cheap. Yeah.
But his bonus program is huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look, we got you for nothing because we knew we could.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. But there's
all
money.
performance-based,
There's money
though.
here to be made if you want to make money. Go out and do good. Put your bike on the box, kind of thing. So it's super weird on that side of things, and people will try to say stuff like, "Oh, hey, Fuego's home. We're just recording a show, so stay quiet." But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where nobody talks about it, but everybody talks about it.
Yep.
So it's pretty easy to go out and get some money. And I've had a lot of people hit me up. They're like, "Hey, can you give me this deal? Can you give me this deal?" Unfortunately, like, I don't want to try to go to bat for you unless you're something pretty good.
You're worth it,
Because
right?
like, yeah, you can. I mean, you can only shine a turd so bright.
So we'll
Still-
we'll call Bell in like 6 to 8 months and see if we can work a deal out.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
What do
So
you
it's like,
what do you actually cost? Oh, that's out of our budget right now. Never mind.
if you're working for bigger name people and stuff like that, and they get their name out there, and you know what's coming up, and you have a good platform and a good thing, then you can go for it, you know. And if you have someone that's really good, but they don't have a platform, I can help you, guide you to why we can sell you. Because I'll say, hey, right now you're right here. To sell you, you need to be right here, but we can get you to right here. You're doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like switch it up a little
do
bit.
better.
But I think
Like, you know what you're doing? Do the opposite.
do the opposite.
do much better than that.
But that's the thing, and I know. I guess I know what people want. I know what the sponsors want. You know, and that kind of thing.
you
So,
kind of live through that side
yeah,
of things as
yeah,
well,
100%.
dealing with
So,
shit like that.
I like it. It's good. Kind of hard right now. The world is such a. You just don't know which way it's going right now, and like
yeah.
to sell stuff on numbers and stuff like that is hard. I will say the only thing that's still keeping stuff alive right now is it's for the first time ever, it's giving athletes a chance to actually show who the fuck they are without a helmet on. Then
Yeah,
being
get
on.
your actual personality.
Yeah, like I think like Twitch kind of started it back in the day where he did like a social media and like kind of deal when he was over riding contests. And that's kind of like how snowboarding has always been and skateboarding. Like
Yeah.
there's athletes that are so fucking badass, but don't go to X Games. They don't want to. All they do is one film part a year kind of thing. They work all year long to do that. So you're giving these riders now, a little bit of a chance. The companies have the money still because the money was going to be their X Games bonus. Well, there's no X Games. So they're like, well, we have this money. Let's give it to this rider. Let's let them go out and film something, do something really cool, and see what they can come up with. You know what I mean? Because it's already in the budget, and everyone's still spending money right now, kind of thing. So like all the companies are all making money. Like I ride for Fast House Gear, they dropped new gear, they sold out in like a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like everybody's spending money and everything, so it's still out there. It's just how do you promote a rider? How do you get them out there besides just riding a dirt bike? Because nowadays it's not enough.
Yeah.
There's always somebody that rides the dirt bike just as good as you. What do you bring to the table?
What's different?
What's
outside of that?
different?
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
different about you?
How
that-
do we sell you? kind of thing?
Exactly.
But I think from like the management side, just backtracking on that for a sec, because like there's a lot behind the show when I came up with the idea for Just Another Failure, when I came up with like bringing guests on the show, like
Matt came up with the idea. I'm just kidding.
but when we came up with the idea for the show, it's like you having that relationship with like companies and people like that from being a writer and not being an agent, it's more organic and stuff like that. So like you said, like I think that's where I saw a lot of my lifestyle, like where we could get cool guests and stuff like that, because it's not like I'm always trying to get something from someone. It's like, hey, you're my buddy, dude. Like I want to just talk to you about certain things.
I just
think-
need a favor.
Hey, bro.
hey bro.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot to be said where you're able to get people to answer the phone a lot more than like an agent that's never been there, because you have these natural organic friendships with people that you're able to help people, and you're like, hey, no, that's my buddy at so and so, like let me talk to him, like I know you could do something with this, like let me go and talk to him,
100%. And it's just one of those things, like you get it and you understand, and I know I'm not going to try to sell you something that's just worthless, like because if you do that and say I sold this guy and he got a bunch of money, but I knew it was a one-time fix for me or something, like this, it's gone. You burn the bridge as you were walking across it, you know what I mean? So that's one thing, like on the management side, like you really got to give something. Like if somebody's going to give you money, they really got to deliver,
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, do your research and know what you're offering people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not give them the shitty product.
Right.
No, but I mean, we don't want to take up a ton of your time, but we definitely like to ask people, since we're just another failure and we like to laugh at our failures, like what's been one of your biggest failures that you've gone through and then you kind of overcame and now you can laugh about it now?
Oh man, I think one of them. Fuck man, I feel like we do a whole nother fucking podcast on this. Shit. No, I think for sure one of my biggest failures was I don't even know what year it was because it's so long ago. But when I first flipped my dirt bike off a super kicker, Jesse Olson's house in Grass Valley, I was there with Drake and Matt Byton, and I flipped the super kicker. That was the old 45-foot ramp, and I flipped that thing probably like I don't know, probably 3 or 4 times that day, and every single one of them went absolutely perfect. But I was so scared that I flipped that day and I didn't flip again for like a year. And I feel like I 100% missed that boat where my pocketbook would have been probably a lot different kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I definitely, because I came back, and then I think when I came back, I don't know if I flipped a super kicker again or if I went
75
straight to 75. I think I went straight to 75. But it was kind of one of those things like, I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Because I think that really hurt my career to where, like, I was definitely a demo kind of guy, I rode some contests. I rode Dew Tours and stuff like that back in the day, and like the old IFMA series. I rode those contests and stuff, but I think I would have been more of like an X Games kind of guy if I was, because there wasn't that many people flipping then.
Yeah.
And I did it and everything went absolutely perfect, but it just, I don't know, man, it scared the shit out of me. So I would say that, and then I would say just life in general.
Welcome to the
Life's
party.
just been a failure.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah, but I mean, but you did turn it around though. You came back, you did flip a dirt bike, and you still continued to make money riding dirt
Yeah,
bikes.
yeah,
through
yeah,
that,
for sure.
so
I think it
it's-
just would have been a whole different avenue.
hindsight's always 20/20.
Like
now that
I'd probably
you know,
still
right?
have an F-150 out front. It just wouldn't be an 04. You know what I mean? It'd be
And that's a good year. That thing's
Yeah.
got soul, dude.
Yeah,
It's fucking nice.
it's nice.
But no, I think just growing up and just learning and stuff like that. And I think it comes to just I wish I would have listened a little bit more. You're really cool when you're younger and making a bunch of
You
money.
know everything,
Yeah,
don't
it's
you?
pretty fucking nuts. And and like now you look around and you really truly open your eyes up, and like if somebody wants to talk to me and they're taking the time out of their day, I'm gonna fucking listen. And I wish I would have saw that a long time ago, kind of thing. And like seeing these older, not even older people, but just people that are successful and in the right state of mind and like really truly grind. I wish I wouldn't have just went like thinking in my head like this is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. I don't care.
Like if somebody takes the time out of their day to talk to you, fucking listen. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think that's a big
that's
one.
really that's some pretty good advice.
Yeah, I think that's probably because again, there's a certain point you're on a high when you're
Well,
younger.
they don't want to tell you.
Yeah,
They don't want to like
Yeah.
they're not trying to talk to you. They're over it too. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things I think.
yeah. If you can pass on anything, but hopefully that person listens to you on the backside. I think
100%.
no, that's a huge life lesson right there for sure.
Well, that was actually a pretty sweet little interview we had there, buddy. We appreciate you coming on. We actually do need to talk about one more thing.
And like I think it's funny, and you can bring that up, but you have 3 dudes with fucking beards and shit. You're like, well, Manscaped, it works great.
Yeah, hey,
But it's for below the belt.
yeah, we
Yeah.
have
I mean, I
have
get it.
beards.
Yeah.
but
That's below the belt.
Well, no, that's the nose trimmer.
Or is that the butthole trimmer?
That's the butthole. It's a bunny nostril trimmer.
That's a funny looking butthole trimmer.
But you use the product, right? You bought it.
Yeah, not that one. And it doesn't go near my butt. I just
No,
shave around the berries.
You got
know?
the lawnmower.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
lawnmower.
So
Yeah.
this is the new weed whacker. This is actually the nose and ear trimmer to keep that the face holes clean.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, you know what I mean, shake the leaves and make the fucking branches look bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what the weed whacker's
Yeah.
for. It's for trimming downstairs so
I
you
got
don't nick the berries.
Oh,
no, that's
I
the
mean,
lawnmower. This is the weed whacker. This
No,
is for your
I'm
nose and
saying-
ears.
I'm
Oh
saying
yeah,
for what he's
he
talking
talking
about.
Yeah.
He's got the lawnmower for trimming the berries downstairs, but this is Manscaped's new weed whacker. They basically have the same skin safe technology where you're not going to nick anything in those sensitive face holes because nobody wants that. And
God, no.
Just pull.
oh god.
Just really wrap up your
God.
nose hairs as you're in there. Oh god.
But yeah, they've got the lithium ion battery in that and waterproof, does it all.
Like if you fucking you're like bored because you're floating in the water, you're like, hey, throw in the fucking weed whacker. Let me just trim it.
You never know when
You
you're
can-
doing a river
yeah,
float,
hey,
dude. You're good.
You can.
You
Like,
can with this, and
It's
you can
like-
also use the lawnmower
Yeah,
underwater.
that's the thing is like you might not think of it, but don't you like the fact that you can if you want
Hey,
to?
Yeah.
it sounds stupid, but now you're going, I wonder what it'd be like to trim my balls underwater.
You could go sit in your little freezer bath that you have outside and trim your balls.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you're going, that kind of does sound interesting. I wonder if it works. No, but you could also go over to Manscaped right now. We have a promo code and use code FAIL at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. So
Holiday
everybody-
season's around the corner.
Yeah, you got Black Friday coming up.
Cyber
Christmas.
Monday.
Get your
You know?
fucking grandpa a goddamn nose trimmer. You know he fucking
Yeah,
needs it.
you know when he's looking at you and
You
you're
know
just,
he does. Come
Yeah,
on.
come
you're
on.
just staring at the nostril nuggets and you're like, come on, Gramps, trim
Or
that
just
thing
buy
up.
it for him and like just hit him with the. Zzz, you know,
Just jam
Let me
it
show
up
you how
there.
this thing works.
he gets
Yeah.
him all of his little olive tray and shit.
Yeah.
You know.
So do what he's saying. Head over to manscaped.com right now. Use promo code FAIL at checkout for 20% off and free shipping for your grandpa who needs his nose hair trimmed right now.
Boom.
But yeah, overall, Kenny, it's awesome having you. Thanks for letting us come down today. Thanks for letting us hang out with you for a little bit and sharing your time with us and letting us sit here and listen to you. And
Yeah.
you know,
Appreciate it.
it's
Appreciate
always
you coming on.
awesome. And definitely like to see some stuff going on more in the future with you. But yeah, thanks again, buddy. It's been awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks for coming down. Appreciate
Hell
it.
Sweet. Well, we will we'll see you guys next time and thanks for watching.
Later.
Later.